when we talk about the environment, if I look at I logged into my system as Ubuntu, right? I can log into my system as Ken, right? I can log into my system as Ken. Now, when a user logs into a system, they have what we call a user environment. A user environment, it will just be like when the shell will maintain a set of information during a session. Ken is logged in right now. I have my prompt, right? I'm running a shell. This shell by default here, it is bash. But this shell is maintaining a set of information, right? I'm calling this a session. I've logged into a shell. I want to run some command. So this is a session that I am on. So within this session, I have a set of information that this shell maintains. So that information is what is called the environment, the user environment. So, and basically this information, these are just key value pairs. For example, the home directory. The home directory, as long as I'm logged in as Ken and I do pwd, it will always show me this. So this shell will always maintain the home as this, right? Now, if I'm logged in as Ubuntu right here, and I do pwd, right, it will always show me that the home of Ubuntu will always be this. So the shell will maintain this based on the user. We have like the working directory. Now, the home directory, again, it is the tilde. The shell will always maintain that. If I cd into archive, let's say I cd into archive, right? Cd into archive, and I do pwd. Now it is telling me this. So the shell is maintaining a pwd based on where I am. Okay, so this is the user environment. The name of the logged in user. Name of the logged in user. How do you tell who is logged in? What command can you run to tell who is logged in?
Who am I?
Who am I, right? I can run who am I, right? And it's going to tell me that the user that is logged in is Ubuntu, right? What about the name of the shell? The name of the shell, I can get what we call variables. Now, as we say, these are key value pairs. We have what we call environmental or environment variables. Environment variables are variables that are specifically set for the particular user or for the session, okay? For the session. Those are your environment variables. Now, for example, I can say echo $, shell, right? Echo $shell. It is going to return for me bin bash, right? Now, remember, I've used a $sign here, which is something that is very specific to Linux. It is a $sign. It is interpreting what that variable, a variable called shell, is, and it's returning this as bin bash. So this variable was already set for this particular user environment. Now, if we can use this command, print env, print environment, to view the environmental variables and their values. So if I do print env, okay, it is going to give me this whole list, a list of some variables, like the shell equals to bin bash, pwd equals to home Ubuntu, log name equals to Ubuntu, home equals to home Ubuntu. So these are variables that have been set for this particular user, this user environment, the user who is logged in. Now, if I want to check what is my log name, then I can use the $sign with the key. These are key value pairs. This is the key and this is the value. So I'll need to supply what the key is. Then the shell will return the value that has been set. Okay. So let's say I want to check what is the log name. So for the log name, then I will do echo $, right? $, and I will do log name, right? If I echo, I want the shell to print for me the value of this variable called log name. So once I enter, it is going to return for me the value, okay? If I echo PWD, the value of PWD, it is going to return for me Ubuntu because this is the value that has been set. So now these are what we call environment variables or environmental variables. Now, when we are working with environmental variables, again, we are going to use the $sign to be able to expand or to view, right? To view the value. If I want to check the user, again, I can do $sign user, because that's a variable that has been set. And this has been set to the logged in user. If I'm logged in as Ken right here, and I do echo, I do echo, then $sign user, yeah, it is going to return for me Ken, because this value is set for the user who is logged in, right? The user who is logged in. So these are the user-specific environmental variables. Now, you can define a custom variable. So these variables that have been set already in the system, these are system variables that have been set, okay? Now, these system variables, you will realize that they are set using capital letters, uppercase. Now, if you want to set or define your own custom variable, a variable specific to your shell, okay, then you can set it as variable equals to, but use lowercase. Built-in variables are uppercase, so use lowercase for custom variable. Now remember, when you're setting a variable, there is no space. Variable equals to value, no space, okay? This will set your variable for your current shell. So example, let me set a variable class. I can say class. I can just say class equals to Linux. Yeah, Linux. Class equals to Linux. So once I enter that, right, now I can do echo $sign class. All right. Now it is going to return for me Linux. Why? Because I just set this variable. I just set this variable within my environment. So this becomes an environmental variable, right? This variable is only available within this environment. If I change the environment, right? If I change the environment, let's say I'm logged in as Ubuntu. If I do echo class, $sign class, right? It doesn't know what class is because this is a different environment, okay? So your variable will only be available within that particular environment. Now, they are what we call exported environmental variables. So when a process is started, it will inherit the exported environmental variables, and the process is of the process that spanned it. So a variable that is set or change only affects the current running process unless it is exported. So this variable, when we run the command print env, it prints what we call exported environmental variables, right? It doesn't print variables that are not exported, okay? Now, it does that because if I start a different shell, like I log out and I log in, that is a different environment I'm starting. So unless a variable is exported, that variable will not be available, okay? That variable will not be available. So an example, right now I logged in as Ken, okay? If I run the same command echo plus, I'll find Linux. Now I can exit or log out. Log out, now I'm on Ubuntu. If I run the command, it's a different environment, echo $class, right? Echo $class. It can't find it. Now let me log back in as Ken. Okay. And my password is Ken. All right. Now let me rerun the same command. What happened? I can't find the variable that I set. Why? Because now this is a different process. This is a different environment that I've started. Okay. These are different environment. So because this variable that I set here, this variable wasn't exported. So the next process that starts, right? This next process, this variable will not be available. Okay. So for us to do that, then now we have to export. You have to export it. When you export it, then the program that starts down the road, it will inherit that particular variable. So for that, now I can say export. I can use the export command, and I want to export class equals to Linux, okay? Class equals to Linux. Now I've exported that. Now if I do echo, echo $sign class, right? I'll see that as Linux, okay? Now if I start another process, bash, when I run bash, bash has started another process, okay? Another process. So if I do that and then I echo $sign class, right? So I'll see that I can see it. So let me try it on this. Let me log in as user, SU Mary. I think I have a user called Mary, password Mary. Right? I'm logged in as a user called Mary. So I can do class equals to Linux. Okay. I can do echo $sign class. All right. Echo $sign, I have Linux. Now let me start another process, bash. Okay. Now, you see, if I try to recall the commands, this is a different session because it has started a totally new session. So let me run echo $class. So you see, it does not find it because I started a new process. This is a new environment, a new process that I started. So it can't find that variable. But if I want my downstream processes to find the variable, okay, to find the variable, therefore I have to export it. So I'll do export, right? Export class equals to Linux. All right. So if I echo class, I can find it. If I start another process, bash process, and do echo $, class, yeah, then this variable was exported, and therefore all the other programs downstream are going to be able to inherit the variable that was. Now, print env or env, it only prints exported variables. Okay. When you use the command print env or env, it will just print exported variables. If I type the command env, right, all these variables are exported. Okay. Remember, and now I can see on my list class equals to Linux. Why? Because I exported it. So all these are exported variables, right? But if I want to display a list of all system variables, then I can use this command. I can use the set command, okay? I can use the set command. So set command, again, you can use the manual or the band page. If I just type set command on that, it is going to display for me all the system variables, including all the functions. So if I do set, it is going to output for me the entire page, right? But remember, I can pipe it. I can pipe it to less. Yeah, I can pipe it to less. So once I pipe it to less, it is going to show me one page at a time. Okay. Then if you use the space bar, it is going to take you to the next page. So when I do the set command now, all these are the system variables, all the variables set, including the exported variables. So if you want to see all the system variables, then you are going to use the set command. If you use the print env or env, it only prints exported variables.